done for. Everyone get out.
Greetings sailors, welcome to the second of my runner-up videos with the last two Diana winners, and we're kicking off with Charger RT here, who is clearly a fan of the car. I'm guessing it's the car, although I'm pretty sure he's actually a German player, but you know, it doesn't matter what country you're from to be a fan of. I don't even know why anyway, that's his username. So we're starting off on this map, which is straight, and actually both of the replays you're going to see are on this map, and he's in the Minikaze. Yes, I did promise you that you would see this ship again. Now that's a Nicholas, that's a dangerous opponent, and as you can see, Charger has already taken a bunch of damage. However, this Nicholas, only now, starting to turn. Only now. Surely though, surely these torpedoes will miss. Surely he won't be so foolish as to, well, okay then. Now that was fairly costly in terms of hit points. That's half of Charger's health gone already. But he did get a first blood and a devastating strike. So that's 2 medals right there. There's also a foot attacker in the cap circle, which if that 8-inch HE shells, if they hit Charger's Minikaze, that could be rather nasty. But there's plenty of ships behind him as well, giving fire support. So he's only going to get focused if he dashes right in the middle of the fray again, and I think he's lost enough hit points that he's going to be a little bit more cautious at this point. So there's no immediate targets to go for. There's no one that's exactly heading in this direction, or possibly even heading in this direction, although the St. Louis is kind of angled on a course that means that he may well intersect with a torpedo drop if Charger should care to make one. However, he seems intent on going for this Congo, but the Congo is kind of heading away for him, although he is also looking like he's just going to mash into the back line there, which does make hitting people with torpedoes a lot easier. But he's still heading in the wrong direction, and this is just about at the edge of that 7-kilometer range, so yeah, Charger wisely decides that that would just be a wasted drop. Now he puts out a blind volley behind the island there, and I am not quite sure what he hoped to hit. We know everything that was spotted, although you never know, there might be another stealth destroyer. Sometimes these blind drops get incredibly lucky, and it's always hilarious. Although being on the wrong end of one of those is also, you know, the opposite of hilarious, because it's like torpedoes out of nowhere and you just die and you weren't even spotted, and it's like, wait, what? So yeah, you do still have to be wary of those kind of drops. And actually, there's that St. Louis, who could have been hit, but just managed to sail in the, well, sailed through the gap fairly comfortably at this range. However, this is well within the detection range. Although I say well within, the Minikaze is still pretty stealthy. It's only a couple of 100 meters within the detection range. But a St. Louis, even to a tier 5 destroyer, is a big threat. The rate of fire and the number of guns mean that the amount of HE spam one of those things can put out, it's very dangerous to any destroyer it meets. However, because it doesn't turn so well, it's also very vulnerable to torpedoes, and because it's slow, it doesn't have the option of running away quickly. Now Charger decides to turn, and he's actually using the island as cover here. He doesn't do it quite right. I mean, he's got the right idea, but he is also approaching on a course that means this St. Louis spots him and will have shots on him. But there's also a Phoenix that's closing in the distance as well, so it's not like he's the only thing that's approaching this guy. Still, this is a little bit risky. There's also torpedoes coming in from one of the destroyers in the middle, which we know must be there, and usually on this map it's that middle cap point that the destroyers all rush for, and that will become something you see in the next replay as well. But this St. Louis actually has killed his speed and is reversing, and that makes this torpedo drop all but a dead certainty to actually hit, because even if the St. Louis driver saw Charger coming and immediately threw his ship into forward gear, it wouldn't respond quickly enough. So there we go, that's another devastating strike, although with his last shots he actually managed to take out a turret. Now it looks like both the both the remaining enemy destroyers, the one remaining enemy destroyer, has gone along from the middle and has moved over to the west. There's also a Phoenix over there as well, and it definitely won't be the Phoenix that dropped those torpedoes because they simply don't have the range. They're 4.5 kilometers. They would have run out well before then. Looks like the carrier is also still taking an interest in this bit of the map rather than the south, because that's a bunch of torpedo planes going for our Congo, who also went for the back line and therefore has made himself an easier target. But they're now far enough away that Charger doesn't have to worry about being spotted unless they fly back over him, which actually it looks like, depending on where the carrier is, they might do. Anyway, he closes the distance, and actually I can see that for attacker there, who was in the middle area, looks like he's trying to join up with his battleship. So this is kind of at the edge of range. It's probably not going to do anything, but you know, you might as well put the torpedoes out anyway. And there we go. There's the torp bombers coming back over that do spot him. So he's got to take evasive maneuvers. I almost said evasive maneuvers there. That's not a word. So yeah, dodges a couple of shells from the foot attacker, which at this range, not that hard to do. He was turning and maneuvering, and so that was relatively low risk. So instead of going for the B capture point, which is what I personally would have done, he decides to go towards this easternmost passage, which, to be fair, I mean, this is a bit risky, because if they've all got their guns pointing this way, he could die really quickly. But on the other hand, this is absolutely a funnel for torpedoes. There's very little room to maneuver in this space, especially in a battleship. And he knows there's multiple battleships here. So this could either end really badly, in which case, you know, you wouldn't have been seeing this as a winner, or it could be pretty damn good. Although he uses a wide spread here, and I don't know why. He also fires all 3 volleys and probably immediately wishes he hadn't, because look, there's the Langley. However, even though the guns on the Minikaze aren't the best, I mean, he can use this island to his front and left for cover. So the ships that are all here, and there's a lot of them, can't immediately fire back at him, and he can just safely sit here and pummel this Langley. The Langley, depending on the hull setup, I think has at least one defensive gun, but it's pretty short range and wouldn't be much of a threat, to be quite honest. So Charger's already gotten 2 kills, and switching to a narrow spread, if he could get some torps on this guy, he could do a bunch of damage, although he does have to be wary about him sending torp planes, although it looks like those torp planes were just coming in to rearm. So although he's hit the reverse gear, and that would make him very, very vulnerable to a manual drop at this point, Charger has got a little bit of time to work with here. He doesn't have to immediately worry about these torp planes coming off, and he's at such a close range that he's going to see them coming, and there we go, they're taking off. So he's got plenty of time to put the ship into gear and get moving again, which is a hell of a lot easier to do in a destroyer. Now, this looks like it's going to hit the Langley, and then lo and behold, a Congo pulls into view. Can you guess what's going to happen next? Oh yes, broadside on. That's just... I mean, the Congo, okay, he was reacting to there being a destroyer, but he just pulled out broadside on in front of said destroyer, and the fact that that whole spread of torpedoes just nuked him, that was just such beautiful timing, it really was. And unintentionally, the Congo driver saved the Langley driver. I don't think that was his intention, but that's what he ended up doing. So again, he's reloading torpedoes, and this time he has actually got torp bombers coming after him, so he's going to have to be a little bit careful. He's going to have to maneuver, which in this tight passage is a bit easier in a destroyer, but still he does have to be a little bit wary. And he's now close enough that the defensive gun on the Langley is trying to open up at him, but yeah, it's not much cop. It's not that hard to actually avoid. The enemy ships, the rest of the enemy ships that were here, have just continued travelling down south entirely. And oh, there we go, torps in the water. And I guess that was an attempt at a manual drop. I don't know. Now, Charger has killed his speed nicely there. I thought he was initially like he was just not paying attention, but he actually killed his speed so that they were all easily going to miss. And almost, you know, that could have been a nice kill, but unfortunately he doesn't get the carrier kill. The Phoenix that was at the top of the Narrows there, I think managed to ninja it instead. But still, he's gotten 4 medals so far, so that's not bad. And these remaining ships now are, this is a pair of battleships, and there is also an enemy Minikaze left alive, but it looks like he's further off to the west, so this is very good in terms of being able to fire torpedoes from stealth. He doesn't have to be worried about being spotted by the Minikaze, although he's detected from the air at the moment and does actually take a hit from that Congo. He is fairly shortly going to be out from under the spotting radius of those planes, because of course the carrier having died, they just mill around at that point and they can still spot stuff, but they're no longer commandable. So he's now fully in stealth, and although these battleship drivers know he's here, and he actually strays a bit too close at this point, so he gets spotted again, but they know he's here, and all they have to do is take evasive action. Now this Congo comes perilously close to hitting Charger, actually knocks out Charger's steering, and because Charger is on the cooldown of his repairs, he pops smoke and he is invisible at the moment, so unless he gets really unlucky with a blind shot, he's going to be fine, and he's also well outside detection range even if he hadn't popped out smoke. So he should be, you know, this is not ideal. He's got a couple of seconds left on the repairs, and there we go. But yeah, this Congo, despite knowing Charger was there, yeah, that would have been a really easy spread to have avoided. But he didn't. So that's another devastating strike. There's also a Minikaze left. What was it, Miyogi that was there? He actually he got nuked by the friendly battleships. Temporarily, my brain just went. I don't know what my brain did just then, but anyway. But yeah, now it's only just now that he actually repairs his steering. I don't know why. I mean, it wasn't critical, I suppose. And even with Duff's steering, he was easily able to avoid those Minikaze torpedoes. I don't know, brain. I don't know what you're doing right now. But anyway, he goes forward into the cap circle, and lo and behold, there's the Minikaze, just like right there at point blank range, practically. So, yes. Now, I think the guy pops out smoke, or else he's got some pretty elite skills. I don't know, but he disappears at like 2 kilometers range, which is ridiculous. And although they've put torps out against each other, I mean, he called out that Clemson at the beginning because the Clemson driver was not paying attention at all, was driving very badly. But this Minikaze is, you know, not being quite that bad, and so this is, you know, this is bad in terms of that he doesn't have a lot of health left, but it's not quite as bad as if he'd been against an American destroyer. And there we go, there's the Confederate, there's his final medal, because an American destroyer, well played, would have just been able to gun him down quite easily. But as it is, this guy is just concentrating on evading, and we're getting very close to the 1,000 points required to win, so it's just a matter of, can we get this final kill before the timer runs out? But unfortunately, it's not going to be the case. We're about to hit 1,000 points, and this enemy Minikaze is going to get away with 27 health. Still going to have most of his repair bill, but his ship didn't sink, technically. It was a very close thing. Like, one more second and I'm sure he would have burned out. But anyway, so there we go. That was 4 devastating strikes, a Confederate, a high caliber, and a first blood with 13 torpedo hits and easily enough score to be on the top of the team, over 2,000 XP with those 5 kills. So that was a pretty good Minikaze game. I think he could have played better at certain points. I certainly, in the early part of the battle, would have gone to capture the B point rather than going into that passage, but then that hilarity with the Congo happened, so, you know, it kind of worked out. Next up, we have Magnum 9000, who is actually on the NA server, and I think he's actually also the only NA winner, although I haven't quite confirmed with everybody what server they are on at this point. He is in the Gremyaschy, the Tier 5 Premium Soviet destroyer, and I've already said I think this is superior to the incoming regular Tier 5 just because it has much more usable torpedoes and a much better turn circle. I say much better, it's better anyway, and that matters in a destroyer. Again, we're on straight, and this time he has actually gone to the B point as a priority, but he's run into not only an enemy destroyer, but an Omaha as well. So he pops out smoke, as has the enemy Minikaze, and he's actually turning to make a getaway now. Because if it had just been the Minikaze, he could probably comfortably gun the guy down. But the Omaha in particular is quite dangerous. It's got a lot of fast-firing guns to be wary of, although he's not actually paying attention to Magnum being here. He's firing at the St. Louis to the north. It is in fact only the Minikaze that appears to be paying attention. So that's a spread of torpedoes out, and all too late this Omaha realises that he's in terrible danger. And there we go, first 2 medals. Again, a first blood and a devastating strike, just as in the previous game, although this time instead of an unwary destroyer captain, it was an unwary cruiser captain. Now, the Minikaze looks like he's going to make a getaway, but look, there's still a couple of torpedoes in the water. Yes. Yes, this is going to happen. Yes, it is. And there's another devastating strike. I mean, I was just looking at that and thinking, surely he's going to turn. Surely. I mean, I know we had the Clemson driver, but that was at closer range. He didn't have that kind of warning. You know, the Minikaze driver saw the Omaha get obliterated by torpedoes. He knew there were torpedoes in the water. Surely he'll evade. Surely he'll, you know, take notice of that. But no. So, you know, there we go. 2 kills. Very, very close together. Not close enough together to get a double strike, but still. That was a very, very good start to the match. Now he puts out another spread. He's just in range of that Zuiho, who is actually coming towards him, but it also looks like he's turning. So at this range, which is pretty much the max range of these torps, so I think it's 8 kilometers, there's probably not that much chance that these will actually hit. So as there is a fair whack of ships to his west, friendly ships that are engaging this cluster of enemy ships, he clearly decides that this is a good opportunity to use his guns. Now, I will say, I mean, in terms of the capabilities to stealth fire, the Gremyaschy can do it, and the regular Tier 5, the Gnevny, with the suitable captain skills, which most people won't have when they're playing up through the tiers for the first time, unless they have a Murmansk or a Gremyaschy. And either, I mean, if you've got a Gremyaschy, you might have the relevant skills anyway, but if you've got a Murmansk, you possibly won't have the relevant skills because as a cruiser, that has a kind of a different set of capabilities. But with, you know, with the right skills, I think the Gnevny will be just as capable as stealth firing as the Gremyaschy can be. But as I was saying with the kind of the port review, it really only seems to massively come to the fore at the higher tiers, because at that point, from tier 8 upwards, you get the equipment slots to significantly increase your capabilities for stealth firing. So anyway, there we go. There's a little word on, I don't even know why I dropped that in there, but there it is. So there's a bunch of low health targets here, and he hasn't gotten any, oh, there we go. 4th kill. Hasn't got any more devastating strikes or torpedo hits, but you know, he might be just about to. That's a St. Louis who turns to evade, but not enough. So double strike and another devastating strike. So that's another 2 medals. So this was an absolutely blistering start, and he has been able to fully take advantage of these people being distracted by his allies and employ almost World of Tanks kind of medium tank tactics, in that he popped up from an unexpected side, and some of them could have been dangerous. I mean, the was it the Kuma Phoenix, whatever it was, the tier 4 was pretty low health, and so not that much of a threat. But the St. Louis, if he turned his attention on Magnum, who was spotted the entire time, then that could have been yeah, but still. 5 kills he's up to now, in fact. Did I say 4? Yeah, I meant 5. So, he charges down the New York, who sees him coming, gets his guns on him, and yeah, that's a nasty hit. So, he repairs the steering, because that's pretty important. And oh, that's painful. That's painful. But he gets his torps out, makes the turn, pops smoke, and he's lost his engine, but he has popped out smoke. And he isn't actually detected right now. Although, there we go, he just pops into detection again. But he might get lucky with these hits. No? Okay, he's now unspotted. He's turning away from this guy. The range is increasing. The smoke will conceal him even though it's finished emitting from his ship. And he should be relatively safe for the 30 seconds or so that it takes to repair. The New York, meanwhile, hasn't been totally stupid. He has actually turned away. And we've actually skipped ahead slightly to the point where Magnum has been able to repair, and once again making a torque drop just outside the detection range of the Minikaze. So the New York, well aware that he's there, he's already dodged one set of torpedoes. He could easily turn to his south and avoid these entirely, but he would have to know that Magnum had made this drop. Magnum has been unspotted, so he's aware Magnum is still here, but he's not he's obviously fully concentrating on firing at other ships, and he's not really taking evasive action as if he was wary of there being torpedoes in the water or destroyers nearby, and that's going to cost him, although only one hit. This isn't going to be another devastating strike. Now, I mean, sometimes you can get distracted and you can use people's distraction to your advantage, and it does work in Magnum's favour a lot here. But he has just been spotted from the air, and he's actually now apparently in detection range, although I wouldn't have thought he would be. 6.4 clicks out. Yeah, I don't know why he's spotted by this guy. There's no destroyers nearby. You'd think it would be the air detection symbol, but anyway. So the New York, and ooh, that's a kill by the enemy carrier, which means that Magnum is now going to be the primary target of this guy. He's by far the closest ship. But, yeah, the fact that the New York is heading for the back line, that is going to make his options for manoeuvring fairly limited. So this particular spread of torpedoes might well do the job. And Magnum just making a getaway here does take another hit, but he's still got a reasonable amount of health left, just under half. Well, more than under half, but anyway, sort of half-ish. I can do numbers. 40%? I don't even know. But yeah, this guy, I mean, he's not humping the back line. He is trying to turn inwards now. But what he could have done to avoid these, and I would have just assumed as that battleship driver at this point that a drop had been made on me. So I would have killed my speed and turned inwards. And yeah, there's still the enemy ships to contend with, but that cost him his ship entirely. So that's another devastating strike. So the only remaining ships left at this point are all towards the north. So he charges up this way, and he has, I think, I can't remember if this was his previous speed boost or if he popped a speed boost just for this, but anyway, there's Wyoming just around the corner, and that's a primary target. He's got 6 kills with the New York. He may be able to ninja another one, but that that guy just burned out. So although he got shots off, hoping for another kill, alas, it was not to be. The Wyoming, meanwhile, looks like he's travelling rather slowly, and as he's about to just pop round this corner, that means that Magnum can pop these torpedoes out at a range that basically can't miss. The New York, the Wyoming rather, is just stuffed. This is a perfect ambush, and that's why you don't want to... I mean, he didn't know that there was going to be a destroyer around here, but yeah. He must have known that there were going to be enemy ships coming up this way, because that would be the natural route for them to take. He knew where they were last when they were engaging his southern allies, so yeah, bad luck running into a destroyer like that, but he must have known there would be at least some ships down here. Maybe he was just counting on them being battleships and being able to duke it out. I mean, the enemy team, after that hilarious kind of first wonderful few minutes, this got a bit tougher, this fight, and we are down to the last couple of allied ships, but the enemy team are down to their last ship entirely. So yes, this has been a fight that they've very much come out on top of, and as you can see from the damage counter there, over 100,000 damage from mostly torpedoes. So it's the last Wyoming. He's now on 7 kills, and bear in mind that there are only 12 players per team in World of Warships. He has killed almost 3/4 of the enemy team. Well, he's gotten 3/4 of the enemy kills, but he's also done a significant chunk of damage. And he wants this last one. I mean, he wants it. There's no such thing as a Radley Walters in this game. The game doesn't reward you for getting lots of kills, although there is an equivalent to Kolobanov's, where if you're standing alone against the last, if you're alone in the last ship, I know, yeah, good thing he turned because the carrier was dropping torps there as well. But yeah, it is possible to get an award for standing alone against the last 4 or 5 ships, but that was nothing like those circumstances here. So that last kill got him the Confederate medal. He had 3 devastating strikes, 1 double strike, a high caliber, and the first blood. So he is the last of the Diana winners, although obviously the second place is getting a Diana alongside the Minikaze. But yeah, this was a very good game, and I think it's the extra range on the torpedoes that really make the Gremyaschy have much more utility, as I've said, than the Nevny will do with its 4-kilometer torps. But they are still going to be both equally capable with the right captain skills of stealth firing. So yes, if you've got a Gremyaschy and you've got that set of training on your captain, then you'll probably do okay in the new Russian destroyers. But enough about them. You'll see much more of them over the next couple of days as more videos go up. So congratulations to both these winners. I have contacted everybody about prizes at this point, although I do have to wait until tomorrow, as it turns out, until Conway comes back and I can get them sorted out. So please be patient, but in the meantime, if you've been watching these and you have enjoyed them, you can leave any comments below, you can hit the like button, you can subscribe to my channel, and as always, stay tuned for more.